The reason they weren't buying the deals from him was because he sounded like a fucking child on the phone. And the thing is that what if they're right? And I think this is where people get even more offended. Is like, what if the bias that you have, what if the bias that you've experienced against, what if it's true? And this is where people get, what if I do act like a hillbilly? Right? What if I did act immature because I was young? Now what? And so the thing is that, one, if you prove that there's a bias, again, so what? Now you've proven that there's a bias, your life's not any better. Version 2, what if they're right? So one, you're proving that there's a bias and you don't act that way. The next vein of thinking is, what if they're right about it? What if you are exactly the stereotype? What if I am immature? What if I don't show up on time? What if I am emotional because I act like a child, because I haven't matured yet, because I haven't enough experience in life? Now, what if I'm not consistent because I haven't learned that skill yet, which more young people have that than old people. Old people are notoriously consistent. They love their routines. How many 80-year-olds do you know who don't have routines? Hard to not have one when you're 80, right? You have to break the stereotype of old people by being spontaneous, right? And so the thing is like, these stereotypes exist because biases exist because we're going to always learn. We're always going to make judgments. But it comes down to whether your restaurant's on the wrong side of the street, whether you have a red face or a green face, or you're short and girls don't like short guys. Okay, if you believe the bias, then you make it true. You make it real. You give it more power rather than less. And so I look like this. I look probably, in terms of like my look, I probably look right-leaning. I probably look a little bit hillbilly-ish. If I put the wife beater on, then I definitely look dumber in general. I mean, when I had my gym, I had many people ask me if I was literate. But as soon as I opened my mouth, it became apparent that I was educated. And so the thing is, and here's my silver lining for this, is that if you have a bias, you actually have the opportunity to stand out even more by being against it. If a green face tips more than a red, just tips a lot, then it's like, well, I expected a green face to tip more. But if a red face tips a lot, you're like, whoa, I noticed that. If a guy in a suit sounds literate and sounds educated, you're not really surprised there because it's what you expected. But if a jack guy in a beater who looks like a hick and maybe doesn't have hillbilly views of the world, isn't a racist, might have a more articulate way of expressing things, then all of a sudden you pause and that person becomes more interesting. They start to break the bias. They start to be better than the bias. You start to create a category